Guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with the final part of this series of the terrain stuff for battle systems, the Fantasy Village. We got done all the big buildings, and I told you guys if there was interest, I would put together a little bit of the scattered terrain. There's a buttload, so there's no freaking way I could do all of it, but I'll put together a few of the pieces that I didn't show you guys while we were doing the buildings, and I grabbed out a little boat as well, just in case you are curious. Now, this video has been made by Battle Systems themselves as well. They've gone ahead and done this, so you don't have to look at just mine. They have a video series covering some of the terrain and scatter as well. Make sure you check that out. And they're covering the new core space stuff, which is getting ready to release, and I'm very excited for that, because I can't wait to get my new edition of Core Space and fight the enemies and have all sorts of fun with that. All right, so we'll jump in here. We're not going to put together all the pieces because there's a bunch here. We'll put together a good chunk of them so you guys can see how it all goes together, and most of it is just simple as it can be. Let's start with something easy here. What's good? All right, and this is part, obviously, of the Fantasy Village set. So you'll get some of this scatter terrain sheeting if you order the big box set, but there's plenty of scatter that comes on the individual sheets themselves. Like, I've got all the big buildings put together, and you guys can see there's still just a mess load of stuff in this box to put together. One box is more than enough to completely cover a town and fully furnish all the buildings. They make sure you're taken care of. Same way with the sci-fi sets too. I know I talk up this company a lot, but I like what they put out. I really do. So I always try to support the companies that I like. So let's start with something easy. We got a little chair here, and we'll poke this out. Just 3 pieces. And a little bottom piece. Come on now. There we go. All right. 3 little pieces for a chair, and we got our glue. Bob Smith's Industries, what I like, medium thickness. I find this works the best. Too thick and it kind of globs up. Too thin, it runs everywhere. This one, nice sweet spot. All right, so with the chair, you've got like the base piece. All right, so this is kind of like the chair legs. This is your seat, and this is the back. All right, so I find it works well to start with this piece. The back of it, come in here with the bottom and push that together. And before I go all the way in, I like to go ahead and put the seat on. That's what that notch is there, to make sure everything's lining up as I put it all together. And then push the bottom on the rest of the way. And just like that, you have a cute little chair that looks cool. And they have the same type of stuff, just in case you're interested, for sci-fi. The core space set, I'm sure the new core space set will have furniture that puts together the same way, except it's got a sci-fi theme. When it comes to gluing this stuff, I like to hit joints. All right, so like right there would be a good spot to put a little dab of glue. And we'll go ahead and dab it just while I'm here, just a little bit, just something like that. All right, you see how it's wet right there in that corner? If I can get it to focus there. That's all you got to do, right? That's enough to hold that piece, and it's going to be fully taken care of. Let's grab ourselves another piece. Let's see, we got a table here. This will work. The top of it, a couple of legs, and the other piece of it. Come on. Hop on out for Gimpy. There we go. And as you guys can see, there's 2 tables on this one. So there's this piece, these legs, the whole piece that holds it all together. So there's multiple pieces. Make sure you're grabbing just for one set. So this is all you need for the table. And this can only go together one way. And I always get this backwards when I'm putting together the damn tables. Let's see, should be like this, I believe. Yep, like this. So you'll hold it like so. We've got a couple of notches here at the bottom, and we're going to slide our legs into it. After we pick up the piece that we threw on the floor, you can see they're different levels. Like this one's down farther, but there's a reason for that. I'll explain in just a sec. But they both are cut up to the same length. So once you put the table legs on and get them notched in, it will work perfectly fine. So let's put that one in there. Get this one notched in. There we go. And I got to get that first one in just a little bit farther. And I always hate this part because when you're putting together two little pieces like this and you got to notch it in, when it's just legs like that, there's not a whole lot to hold on to. So it runs the risk of bending just a little bit. So you have to be careful, but it should be wide enough. Let's try. All right, give me a sec. All right, so I had to actually widen that up a little bit to get it on there, but it's simple. Once you get done with that, you simply take your tabletop and it's going to slide right on to that notch right there on the top. And it's going to give you a little table just like that. And this part here at the back, this actually slots into the walls, right? There's little spaces where that little notch there at the back can be fitted like extra notches into the walls. So you can actually mount these to where they're like permanent fixtures into your buildings if you want to. If you don't want to, you can just use a pair of clippers to clip that off. Up to you. Same thing as the others. Put little glue spots on the joints and you're good to go. So we got ourselves a little table there, and there is little table scatter terrain stuff like our little bowls here you can put on there, even some of the books, just to make it look a little bit cooler. All right, so let's grab ourselves a bed next. We need that piece, and I believe that's it. But we can grab out these little pillows as well for our bed. All right, so the beds come in different shapes, sizes, colors, all that good stuff. So there's some that are going to be half the size of this, like a single bed. This is more of like a double bed. Big thing is you're going to have this piece, which is like your bed frame, a couple of pillows, and the bed itself, which is double-sided, so I guess it really doesn't matter which way you put up. Key thing on this is there are some bends on each side of the bed. So you're going to be bending this at 90 degrees to make your bed frame. And then grab our little poker out here. Poke this little piece out. There we go. That gives us a little notch there at the back. All right, so after you knock that little piece out, make sure we come to our bed. Don't forget this little part like I almost did. There is a little cut right here on the bed where you're going to push that down. And that one's a little bit harder, but that creates like the foot of our bed. So you get that folded down like such. And then you see how there's notches there. We've got notches there. That's how the bed's going to go together. All right. So come in here and then line your notches up. See right there on each side. Once you get those finagled in there, you can just simply push it down and snug her up a little bit there in the back. And bam, just like that, we got a bed. Another little spot where it can slot into the wall if you want to kind of help hold it in place. And something I like to do is go ahead and glue these little pillows on because they will easily pop off and you'll lose these damn things if you don't. And it gives the bed that extra little bit just to look cooler on the table. Little spot of glue is all you need. And I'll come back and glue these pieces together later. I'm not going to be using most of these pieces when it comes to my playthrough for bolt action because I don't think I'm really going to need them all that much. I want to have room for the guys to be in the buildings putting out fire. So there we go. Just like that. We got a little bed, a couple of pillows on it. And I would definitely try to reinforce places like this where you got your bends, where it's probably going to be a little bit weaker. Definitely there in the joints. And then back here in the back, push that together and then put a little bit of glue down in there to hold that. And if you really want to, you can snip this little nub off there at the back, but it's really not that big of a deal. So that takes care of our bed. Yes, perfect. Our pieces are coming together. I'm trying to get the easy ones done before we get some of the harder ones. All right, let's do a barrel real quick because there's a buttload of these. And I'm basically just going to walk you through it because we're not going to take the time for all the gluing. A barrel is just these three pieces. All right, I got a little bit of a glare going. We've got this that has a whole mess load of cuts. All right, you see how it cuts all the way down, and it's like that so you can make a fully round barrel. And then the two pieces for the ends. Now, when I was first trying to put together some of these, I made the mistake of putting them too close to the edge, because when you're rolling this thing over, now the way they suggest to do it, and I think their way is the good way to do it, but I'm going to add a little something to it of my own suggestion. And again, this is me saying that, not them. This just does not have quite enough space when you roll it over. If I can show you guys, when you get that round piece, they suggest to glue it in, halfway through, and then roll everything over, right? Kind of like that, and then glue it. The problem is that's just a little too big, okay? So if you want your barrel to look right, what I'm going to do with mine is I'm either going to use a pair of clippers or an X-Acto blade. I haven't figured out which. I'll have to kind of experiment and just shave this edge down a little bit all the way around. Maybe a ½ millimeter all the way around, just to take out that little bit of space. Just a little bit more is what's needed, because the key thing is you can see here where the two pieces really just did not connect. And that's even with the barrel tops and bottoms being on the outside instead of on the inside. So it really just does not have enough space. They could use another link, honestly, and I think it would be better, because I think it's better to have just a bit too much than too little. I think they were trying to shoot for exact on that, so it would look real good on the table and you wouldn't have to worry about clipping. So in this case, if you want your barrels to look right with just a little bit of the lip poking out instead of kind of screwy like my first couple of barrels came out, what I would do is same way as they suggest. All right, go through, get all your folds, do that. When you start it, glue this down, just inside the lip, and then start folding her around when you're ready. After this is glued in, put the top and the bottom piece in, put glue around the edge of the round pieces, and then fold it together. The only thing extra that I'm going to add to that is make sure you shave down the edge of these round pieces just a little bit. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, whether it's coming around like this or using clippers, but it's just a little bit that's got to come off of that. So I'm going to shave that down somehow before I make the rest of my barrels. But that's just my suggestion. I think the barrels look really good, especially when you combine them with some other terrain like carts and stuff. It really kind of brings everything together. But you do need to do just some extra little bit of step. I think these barrel pieces are just a touch too small in their current state. That's my only gripe with it. All right, let's take a look at last thing we haven't covered here is going to be the chests. And the chests are some of my absolute favorite pieces when it comes to the core space battle system stuff, because they are so cool, especially when it comes to core space, because the tokens that come in that game, there's large and small tokens. There's small and large chests. So like a big weapon like a shotgun or like a laser shotgun in the futuristic version, it wouldn't fit in a small chest. The token is actually too big. So you can play the game where you have these random tokens put in the crates. And I played it. I did go check it out. The Core Space Big Game, I think is what I named it. I did the tokens in there randomly. I drew them out of the bag random, shoved them into the box without looking. That way, as I was playing the game, I had no idea what was in the crate when I was coming up to it. That's one of the neatest aspects. I really love that. Really brought the game together. And they have the same types of crates here in this game that you can use. So cool. Now, they don't have a Core Space old fantasy version of Core Space, which, hey, Battle Systems, if you're listening, on the off chance you see this video, make it, because I'll buy it. No, I wouldn't be the only one if there was like a fantasy version of Core Space. All right, top piece, we want to start with that. There's a bend right there in the center, and this is to give us a lid, okay? You see, where's my other half? These two pieces are the same, all right, except this one's got the lid. And you see they've got the spots there at the side where they slot down, and these slot up, okay? That's it. It's just that simple. Put one of these here, get them slotted on, and they're always just a little bit snug. It's funny, like I'll put these together off camera, and they all go together perfectly, and there's never a problem. And I start trying to put it together on camera, and they're always too snug and not fitting. And I'm like, damn it, I know how to put these things together. What the hell? All right, let me expand that one out. That's a little snug in its cut. And that's something I found, like the game boxes themselves, like the Core Space game, all of its stuff tended to be sized a little bit better. And I think it's because it's newer. That's just my guess. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was sized a little bit better for the fit. Like you didn't have some that were just occasionally a little bit too snug. All right, that should work. Let's put this other piece on, and then we'll slot on the other side. All right, perfect. There we go. And you guys see our crate is coming together. We've got a little lid right there at the top, and it's even colored differently on the inside. So cool. Love this stuff. These crates are really the best part. Oop, I'm coming in the wrong side. Helps if you put it together the right way, Gimpy. All right, get that lid out of the way. Should probably do the lid piece second. All right, come on. Get on there. All right, give me a second. Let me pull it a little close. All right, so there we go. Got it pushed down. And don't do it like I did where you're in a hurry and you're rushing a little bit. You see how I bent those pieces just a little bit because I was trying to rush through. Nothing a little bit of glue isn't going to take care of, but it should look more like that. Nice and crease-free. Now, if you wanted to, you could just leave your crate like this. You don't have to do the other two pieces if you don't want to, but it does take it to another level. Now we have two pieces, one an inside piece, all right, it's just inside colored, and then one that has inside and outside color. Now the way this goes together is up to you on how hard you want to go with it. This piece, the one that has the bottom piece, right, the outside, you slide down in and you push it through to the bottom. Helps if you set it down on the table and then you glue it in. Mine's a little bit wider, so it's fitting in not quite as snug. Let's do it this way. And just like that. All right, and you can glue it in and get a nice snug fit, and boom, you got it. Closes up the crate. But if you want to take it to the next level, you can use this piece by doing the same thing, flip it over. And this is their suggestion, which I think is an excellent suggestion to do. Same technique. You're going to push this down, and you're going to use that to create the lip. Okay? So that's going to stay up against that, and you have to use glue. All right? So don't try to eyeball this by just holding it up and trying to glue it on there, because if you don't get it perfect, it won't give you a snug fit. Put one tiny little drop of super glue in the center, All right, just enough to hold that thing on there. And hold that down tight, and then push this centerpiece in. If I can get it. Come on, there we go. Push it down and hold it for just a second until it dries on there. Shouldn't take more than a second. Just like that. Make sure she's dry. And then, bam, just like that. Look at it. It sticks closed, man. I know it's cardboard. It's a little cardboard crate, and I'm tickled pink. How cool is that shit, man? I friggin' love that. Look at that. Bam, just like that. You got a little snick close crate. It'll work even better, too, when I glue it up later and have that all snug fit. But God, I love that. So make a fantasy core space game so I can freaking have something to put in my little crates. Now let's get this bottom piece glued on there just a little bit. I'm going to try not to glue it to my table, but I probably will. Hopefully it won't. We'll see. I'm just using a little bit. Spread that out. And we got to do this quick. All right. Make sure you're putting the bottom in. All right. Come on. Get in there, baby. Bam. Just like that. And hold that snug for a sec. So that bottom piece. Oh, I had to pull it up because it was starting to get tight to the table. But that way that bottom piece is glued on there, right? Keep that nice and tight. And I'll go and reinforce that with some glue later. But look at that. That just looks so cool. It's a chest that is actually functional, made out of little just foldable cardboard. Man, I freaking love this stuff. It is just so neat. All right, so that takes care of our first sheet. And main stuff. What other pieces? We'll do, because some of this stuff is specialty stuff that doesn't come in a whole lot of stuff, so you don't have to really worry about it too much. Like the fireplace, that's not that big of a deal. It's not in too many of the kits. Chairs, tables, beds, chest, barrel-like items, something that's round and folded over a lot. You're going to find a lot of those in different kits. Like here's another chest. We're going to do a bookcase, because bookcases, there are plenty of those. And they go together actually very similar to staircases. So if you know how to put together a bookcase, you'll know how to put together a staircase. So punch these out and punch these out. All right, that should work. All right, for our bookcase, we have 4 shelves. We've got 2 sides. We've got a back piece. All right, so you're going to take your back piece, and just like you can see with a notch, and there's a notch right there, each side, just going to slide her down. Just like that. And bam, got one side done. And just like so many of their pieces, you'll notice this one has a little notch piece here at the back. It's not necessarily for carrying. That is for being able to slot into certain pieces, okay? Certain pieces of the wall. So you need to pay attention on what type of terrain you're building, what type of walls you have. There are notches in the tops and the bottoms of the walls, okay? So this can notch into it so it holds the bookcase steady, and you could even glue it in if you wanted to. That way it's like a permanent fixture in the building. But they do have, and it's the same way with the core space stuff, they have built pieces that have the same type of stuff that will hook into the walls of the terrain. That way it holds on there really nicely. So make sure you decide on which way you want to go with your top and your bottom. And let's share. I think we'll leave this on the bottom because I think the majority of the notches where you can slide it into stuff is on the bottom. And you don't want it, like I said, you can clip that off. So it's up to you. These operate just like staircases do. They just notch in on each one of those. So just start at your bottom and work your way up, just like so. Bam, here's one. And here's two, if I can get her to get in there. And it starts, these little shelves really start bringing it together. And you can hear that slides in there nice and snug. So you really don't even need glue to hold these things together. And we'll put that last piece in there. And bam, just like that, we got ourselves a little bookcase made. And again, you can really go with this thing, top or bottom, whichever way you want. I would probably do the bottom right there with that. And where are those little pieces? We've got these little bookshelf pieces that we will pull out here to show you guys. Got some red ones here. And it's really up to you on what scatter terrain you want to put on it. You don't have to put that. You can use some of the bowls. Any of the other scatter terrain really will work. Looks like there's 4 that are closed and then some that are open like this. And actually, let me look at that. They actually have words on them, man. That's so freaking cool. I wonder if you can read this. Hold on. Just focus. Gimpy's eyesight's too bad. I can see some like Templar symbols on there, but that's about it. I can't read it. You guys are going to have to read it to me. But you guys can fold the books. So it's like a closed or open book, whichever way you want to go with it. You can use these as extra scatter terrain elsewhere. You can put them on tables. You can do whatever you want with them. See stuff like that. Or you can slide these in there. I'm not going to jam it in there, but basically wherever you want to put stuff, you can put it to give yourself that little bookcase look, right? I would definitely glue these pieces in, come up with a configuration that works for you, that looks good, and then glue them in. That way they're going to stay there, because otherwise these little pieces will fall out and you'll never be able to find them. All right, so we hit the majority of the big scatter terrains. The rest of it's like duplicates or the fireplace, which I'm not going to worry about doing the fireplace because the fireplace isn't that hard and it's not that common. But this boat I didn't show earlier, and I wanted to make sure I included it. So let's punch out the oars here as well and show you guys how this little boat goes. Now this comes with the lake house, so you'll get this in the Fantasy Village Deluxe set that has everything, or the lake house one, right? Now, this has to be folded on around. It's a very unique piece, and I am hoping I put this thing together right, because you see it notches in here together at the front, and I've been worried that I'm going to do it wrong. But we got to fold on each side, all right? So that's going to give us our bottom, and then you see this kind of folds around, and then you want to kind of just push those pieces together, just like that. Gives you a cute little boat, which you can push on the folds. And this, again, is one I would probably come back and tape once you get it folded around and come up with one that works. See how it's not lining up perfectly, but I can push it out from the center, and I can hit that with a little dab of glue to make that hold in the place that I want it to. Same on both sides. Bam, just like that. Now we've got a couple pieces left. This one's real simple. This just lays in here. I would definitely glue that piece on. And then we've got a piece here at the back, and this looks like it's going to be a tight fit. I might have to lighten those up just a little bit. Let's take that out and see if we can get these. Yeah, those are a little snug. Let me widen those up just a little bit. All right, so what you want to do, and sorry I started this just a touch off camera. Remember, I needed to be on there. And this isn't fitting just perfect, but we'll notch it back in there. Is you want to just push it down just like that on those two back pieces. And again, that's a spot I would hit with glue, because it's not, I mean, it's in there firm, but I would hit it with just a little bit to hold it in there nice and snug. So you hit this, get your little bench just like that, And we got our little oars that we can just pile in here or do whatever we're going to do with. And bam, just like that, you got a neat little boat. A couple of them, I believe, come with a lake house. And you can put one out on the lake or prop it up next to the building, just some extra terrain, and it looks cool. I mean, you've got a little boat you can use for your gaming. Took me 2 minutes to put that damn thing together, and it's painted and it looks good. Love it. Love it. All right, so this is just a hint of the scatter terrain that is available for the game. The basic concepts are the same, though. So the stuff that I've showed you, the stuff that you can see on some of the videos that they've put out, the same basic concepts apply. The one thing that I'll kind of hint towards is that if you're putting something together and it feels like you're having to like force it real hard, that you might not be putting it together, stop and take a look again. Most of it is, or all of it's designed to go together. So if you're having to fight it together, good chance you might be making a mistake. And don't be afraid to hit it with a little bit of an X-Acto blade just to widen out a notch here or there. You can always go back and hit it with a little bit of the glue, and that will harden that material right up, and you don't have to worry about it coming apart. It'll work perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, you end up with stuff like this that I just freaking love, man. I love these little chests. I think they're one of the best things about this game, man. It looks so freaking good, especially when you combine all this stuff together and you get it in the buildings and you take that roof off and you've got bookshelves and fireplaces and bars and stools and chairs and tables and everything that especially if you're playing something like D&D, I could see this stuff just being gold for those people. For me, it would look better if it had a bunch of bullet holes in it, but I'm not playing the type of game they were probably designing it for. But yeah, anyway, definitely check out the CoreSpace website. They got a whole bunch of this stuff on there. If you don't want to get it there, which the shipping can be kind of bad because it's coming from the UK, check Amazon because they have some good prices. They had some sales going on some of the terrain packs as well. So you can get it from Amazon. You can get it from Miniature Market. I believe they still have some left. And definitely from the CoreSpace website. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.